What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank y'all for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up to all of my friends and family? I see y'all inside of the chat. It is Tuesday, December 9th, 2025, year of our Lord. And I will tell you that I don't think that anybody has a better job than me. I don't think that anybody has a better job than me. What up, friends? How y'all feeling? What's up, Kay Cooper? Let me acknowledge my friends in the chat. Will Nola, Kay Cooper, Sabrina, Mike, Los, Walk on Wood. What up, Walk on Wood? Fukari Ferry, Jesse, Xavier, Treese, Terrence. What up, Terrence? What up, Keisha? What up, Keisha? You very well might be right, AD, says Crown. I got the best job in the world. I'm eating yet another avocado, says Jesse. What up, Nicole Lowe? Trill Mercy, TL410. I see you. Long way, ENT, ABJ Wise, Astrid, Chris Lamont. I don't want to miss too many people. What up, Keisha? Good morning to you too. Shantae Jackson says, yes, you do. Monic or Moni, what up, though? I appreciate you. Vanessa Marcel, hey, baby. What's happening? Magnificent Gaming, John Teal, Joseph Williamson. What up, y'all? How y'all feeling today? Let me ask y'all this, that almond milk hot chocolate weather. Oh, man. Y'all want to see what it looked like on my side? I couldn't believe it. Let me show you what it looked like on my side. Look at all of that white. I don't like it. I don't like it. Look at all of that white out there. It is I was leaving out today. I said, I'm taking a vacation in January. Yes. I know that some of y'all ain't in the Midwest. I love all four seasons, but I can only take it for so long. It's the same thing over there, Candy Jack. I can only take it for so long. I can't do it for extended periods of time. The older that I get, you said come to Miami, my other home. What's the weather in Miami? Let me see what the weather is in Miami. 74 is going to 77. No, 74 today, 74 Wednesday, 74 Thursday, 75 Friday, 77 Saturday, 77 Sunday, 75 Monday, 73 Tuesday. All right, let me look up San Diego. San Diego is 77, 76, 70, 60. Yo, what up? And what is it the other way? Whatever it currently is. I could figure it out. I mean, it's basically going to be the same as what he's saying because whatever that amount is, um, it doesn't include like um, it doesn't include the additional fees like for snow removal and utilities and air and all of that type of stuff. It's only four. So basically, everybody in the entire building have to pay. It's almost like an HOA. Everybody in the entire building got to pay whatever the additional amount is. You know what I'm saying? So that original amount is just that, but then the other utilities and fees. So basically, it's gonna probably be an additional $100 or $200 a month if it's for 1 month. I mean, if it's only yearly, but if it's for three, which you plan on being here, I don't plan on moving out of this building for any amount of time. Then it's gonna go, you know, whatever it's gonna be. So just do it for three, basically. Okay.
Right, and on the options and the terms and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I got to get my money's worth out of it because I've already put hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it don't make no sense to go nowhere.
All right, so you want to just tell them
Yeah,
and then you got it.
just tell them. See if you could do it for one with a 1 year renewal with 2 1 year renewal options at the 3 year. Otherwise, just do it for the three.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do it for one.
So 1 year guaranteed, and then two renewals after that instead of just a three, and see if he'll go for that. If he's not gonna go for that, then just do it for the three. So the option to renew after 1 year, another one, and then another one after that. All right. Bye. This is what happens when you live stream and you got stuff going on. You got to get stuff done, and you got to take care of business in the middle of it. So in the middle of a negotiation, that's what's happening. So we figuring it out. Also, so here's the difference between San Diego weather and Miami weather. All right. San Diego weather is not as warm, slightly more humid, but it's sunny every day. Miami weather, it could be raining, it's a little bit more humid, and it's just a little bit different. So it just depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Both of them is better than what I'm experiencing right now. So both of them is better. Absolutely better. But we got to make a choice though, because in January I gotta bust a move. This is what it's like in Miami right now. Miami looking good. Miami looking real good. So on average, it's in the mid 70s. Averages on the mid 70s. And then, but it's got rain. But even when it rained in Miami, it only rained for like a quick second. And then over in San Diego, it's all sun. But then it can get down to the 60s. So that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Here in Detroit, though, right Right now, this is the only thing about that I don't like about the Midwest. I like it because it actually give a chance to kill the bugs. So you ain't got flying roaches and stuff like that, like they got down there in Florida. Look at this nonsense, bro. See this? No. I can't do it, bro. I am not built for it. I'm just not, bro. So most of the people in my life, um, most of the people in my life, they're getting piston tickets for January. People that I need to get Christmas gifts for here in the Metro Detroit area, they getting pissed courtside Pistons tickets in January. And I gotta go, bro. I gotta go. 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 So I'm locked in through December. Holiday season. Yeah, I seen Buffalo blowing off their field. Not a bug alive. We kill all of the bugs, kill all of the roaches, all of that. I also learned that my grandmother, when I went down to Tampa, this is how you know that cable is over. This is how you know that cable is over. I learned that my grandmother, pretty much 98, 99% of the time, she only take in, well, she watch movies too. She only watch YouTube. She only watches YouTube. I didn't know that she was even into, hey, grandma. She said, oh, I'm all familiar with everything that you got going on, baby. You doing so great. I love it. And she gave me the wink, right? You know what I know that you know what the wink is? You know what the wink is? You do cuss a lot though. You be cussing a lot. Bro, I learned some what's in my grandmother's algorithm. I said, wow, okay, so we here. We here, but she loved me. I had to drop her a bag too. You gotta pay tribute. Listen. Whenever you go to your people's places, you go visit your grandmother and all of that, don't just bring yourself. Bring a gift. Bring a gift. So I had to make sure that I brought tribute. So you give her a bag. You got to give her the cash, that cash bag. Oh, honey, you always making sure that I'm taken care of. Drop off a bag, make sure that you take care of grandmother and all is well. That's tribute for the cursing. Oh, what's up? Y'all ready to get started with the show? I don't know where to start today. It's so much to take in. It's so much to consume. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot happening all over today. So I don't know where to start. Let's see. We got Jasmine Crockett, rent prices in Atlanta. Um, People getting evicted from buildings that's being foreclosed on. Netflix is willing to let Paramount have them for a certain amount. Massive fraud in Washington for $200 billion. Let's see. Australia is banning social media completely for younger people. Chicago area man wanted for let's Busta Rhymes cussed out a content creator. That should be interesting. Hold on, let me see something. Rent prices, Crockett Mob. Let's talk about this. Cam Newton chimed in on $100 million number. Let me see something real quick. But why is Busta Rhymes always? Hold on, let me see something. Let me share my screen real quick.
Get the video. Get the video on this. Tracy Morgan. Oh, Tracy. What? What did I just say?
Wait. What did you say?
Nah. Bro,
what did you just say?
Tracy, my boy out here.
Hold on. Put your camera down. Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan.
I don't know. My boy said Tracy.
Post the round, nigga. I'm not talking to you, homie.
Whatever.
I'm trying to understand. I'm asking you a question. I ain't calling you out. What's the problem? You got a problem? I don't understand. I don't know what that means either. That's why I'm asking you what it means. That's the only way I can understand why I'm asking questions. So I was taking a picture to show you love because you were trying to be funny. So what you mean Tracy, my boy? What that mean?
Everyone say Tracy.
I ain't hear nobody say Tracy. You know what I'm saying? Tracy. Don't play stupid either with your name. Talk about Tracy. I don't know what y'all doing.
Yo, what happened? What you
Let me see something.
Go for this fucking camera shit and get you hurt, little nigga. Understand? It's a respect thing. See, y'all, I don't want you sorry. I just want you to understand. Play with people you don't know. You can't control it. You can't just give me the picture. You want to troll? You can't. I swear I was not trying to troll.
He's lying. He was trying to troll. I don't know why he just don't own it. He was trying to troll. Because now you want to backtrack it and saying I wasn't trying to troll. Yeah, you was trolling, bro. Regardless of whether or not you think you agree or you disagree, you was trolling.
Not nobody's fucking nigga. Shh. I ain't nobody nigga. I'm not signing nothing else.
What's good, my brother?
What's good?
All right, chilling. Bronx in the house, you heard?
Salute, brother. Good? Good, brother.
You take a flick for me?
No, sure. I gotta go inside, which I think I might.
I can't get one real quick, Bronx in the house real quick, Buster.
I appreciate the love.
Let me get one. I'll see you later. Stay black, you heard?
I appreciate that.
Stay black, Buzz.
Why do people say stuff like
that? You
that?
a clown now too?
Nah, I ain't no clown.
What the fuck you mean stay black?
That's my slogan.
I don't know that slogan. Don't say it to me.
That's
I'm not joking with you.
Photo. It's all good.
Fuck that. I ain't doing your photo.
All right, have a good day though.
You have a better day.
Happy holidays and all that. Happy New Year and all that. All right, cool.
Keep playing. Y'all
Cool.
niggas bug the fuck out. Keep playing.
That's what I'm saying. Stay black is my thing, bro.
I don't give a fuck what it is. That
All
is
right,
what
cool.
I do.
All right, no doubt.
Bozo ass nigga.
All right, cool.
Stop playing.
All right, cool. Have a good night, bro.
Stop talking to me, bro. How about that? Say something else. Yeah. Say something else.
That's some funny shit, bro. Wasn't even coming off with negative energy, bro.
Yeah, you was.
No, I wasn't. That's my slogan, bro.
Oh, so you keep talking.
That wasn't even negative energy, bro.
Keep talking.
Now, have a good night, though. Stay black.
Dick.
All right, have a good night, bro. Stay black. Stay black.
Pussy, nigga. Keep talking. Keep playing, my nigga. Keep playing. Keep playing. You keep playing, you little fucking faggot. You don't even know what's around you, bitch. Don't touch me. Keep playing.
I ain't say nothing, bro.
You gonna stop fucking playing with grown men. Stop playing.
I'm not playing, though. I'm not playing, though. That's my slogan, bro. Have a good night, though, bus. Yeah, why you press you? What'd you do?
Yo, what's good, Tracy Morgan?
Oh, for real? Oh, you wildin'.
I was wildin', bro. Yo, you almost got your eyes beat, though. He was fresh. He didn't want no videos, also.
So here's my assessment of this whole situation. And this is why I don't hang with everybody. I don't want to be with everybody. I don't want to be in the same space as everybody. Because Busta and them grew up in a certain era. And Busta and them, you know, is used to a certain level of respect. And I do think that both of them was trolling. So multiple things is true in this situation. I think that both of them was trolling. The young white boy obviously admitted to trolling, but then he didn't have that same energy when Busta was in his face, which he shouldn't have the same energy, right? Because that's what they do. A lot of these streamers, a lot of these young people, they come up off of trolling, right? That's the name of the game. It's a different era in the internet era nowadays, and Busta can't really do nothing about it. It's not like he could hit him or beat him up because Busta is going to be facing a lawsuit. And so these young guys, A, they disrespectful, but then B, they understand the game. So they disrespectful and smart because they trying to get the content. And if they wind up getting fired off on or Busta do something to them, then guess what? Busta is in hot water, and so it's a whole nother level, which then feeds into the whole Busta Rhymes thing. Busta wasn't wrong for how he reacted to it because you can't control how somebody reacts to it. But then Busta gonna have to understand, and he been famous enough. Busta been famous enough for a long enough time to understand that this is not the streets. And even though you come from a certain cloth and you cut from a certain era, it's a different type of game out here, right? So on top of that, Busta Rhymes should be able to take a joke or just rub it off and just completely ignore these dudes. I'm not giving nobody no energy that I'm not about to do nothing to. I would not give anybody any energy that I'm not about to do nothing to. If it's content, then I'm gonna just keep it 100% content. In real life, I'm not about to argue back and forth with a person that I know I can't do anything to. So if I'm just completely handcuffed in the situation and it's not a thing, then I have to remember, hey, this is just content. I'm not going to give them what they want. I'm not going to go back and forth. Once I realize that the dude was trolling, I'm just walking off and I'm keeping it moving. I think that there's a little bit of a disconnect from a lot of the people from the old school. That's our legends. To them, they don't care about our legends and they don't care about respect for them because they didn't grow up listening to you. They don't know leaders of the new school. They don't know Spliff. They don't know, the legendary Busta Rhymes. They don't know all of that. So, you came up killing it in the 90s and being admired by people from our generation. I went to the Missy concert, not for Missy mostly. I went for Missy second. I went for Busta Rhymes first. Because I remember back when Busta Rhymes used to be the most explosive live show artist that I've ever seen in my entire life. So I grew up off of Pastor Cavassier. Give it to me now, Pastor Cavassier. Give it to me now. Hey, Hey, Busta. I grew up off of Janet Jackson. Give it to me now. You'd be lucky. The dude didn't even look old enough to be able to look at me now. Hey, look at me now. He don't even look old enough to be able to resonate with that. He was probably a baby when Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, and Busta Rhymes came out with Look At Me Now. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with a Busta and Mariah Carey, Flip Mode, all of that, leaders of the new school. So, I think he was on the No Way Out tour, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a different era. It's a different game. I think that a lot of these older guys is having trouble adapting to what's going on in the culture today. I seen Mano and Jim Jones, Davies, and Fab respond to academics when academics said that they don't dress age appropriate or whatever. Have y'all seen that? Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I seen Mano and them, and then Mano went off and basically was like, academics, you can't outdress me. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can find it.
Was it your lane when that lady said that you forced herself on her?
Hold on, let me see something. I don't really like all of this extra stuff or whatever, so it's kind of hard to find it. But Mano basically crashed out after academics said that Mano and them don't dress. Jim Jones and Mano and them don't dress age appropriate. Mano comes back out and says that basically academics got a little dick, and he don't really understand the culture, which I don't have a problem with the way that they dress. I think they dress according to their era. In their era, it was Tim's, Avirex's, Pelly coats. It was Pelly's here in Detroit. I had a Pelly. Actually, I got carjacked for my Pelly. Pelly, it was, they dress in Girbaud jeans, all of that, Gucci loafers. That's their time. And I don't care. Okay, so he criticized you. Mano shot back. Academics. Then Mano goes in a car and do a recording video where he basically, checking him, and so it starts to escalate. Ak is like, listen, man, maybe I don't dress the way that I'm supposed to, but y'all niggas y'all coming into my sphere, which is, the podcast sphere, and I helped build this podcast sphere, and y'all niggas is, y'all was on some rap stuff. Now y'all want to come into my sphere and y'all feeling some type of way. So I could see it from both sides. The only thing that I'm saying is that I think it's a disconnect from the OGs. I think it's a disconnect from the OGs, and that they think that nobody is supposed to criticize them. They think that nobody is supposed to criticize them, or that they're above criticism when they want to be podcasters and live streamers. You're not above the wave. And, you can't start threatening people and saying what's going to happen and I'm going to actually pull up on you in real life. That's where it starts to go off the rails. So I'm all for battling. I'm all for good content. I'm all for going back and forth. But I just think that it's a disconnect between the older generation, and that they don't understand that a lot of these young guys. Somebody said dressing like 1998 is wild. For who? I definitely dress like 1998. I definitely keep me a pair of Versace shades from 98. I definitely still wear Coogee sweaters. I wear Coogee sweaters. I wear Levi's Coogee sweaters. I still got the same Gucci loafers. I got the new Gucci loafers, but they the exact same Gucci loafers from the 90s. I still wear Polo Ralph Lauren from the 90s. I still got Nautica shirts. I got all of those. So I dress like 1998 too. I still dress with the same aesthetic sometimes. And of course, I switch it up or whatever, but I still roll with the same aesthetic that I did in the 90s. So I don't really know if that's what you trying to be like these young niggas today. I don't really give a fuck about how the young niggas today dress. I dress how I want to dress. And I'm definitely going to keep on rolling with the 90s. I still rock my Coogee sweaters. I still got my Gucci loafers. If I was able to find a Girbaud jeans that I like my Levi's. So my Levi's is cool. So I still wear my Prada shoes, my Prada boots and my Prada shoes that I was rocking in the 90s. And so that's why I roll. It's so funny because my daughter pulled up and she said she got the it wasn't the Eviction jeans, it was something else. My daughter was pulling out the same stuff that we was rocking in the 90s. She was buying that junk and rolling out. I said, "What?" She said, "Dad, this is what I'm rocking to school." Yeah, my daughter do the same thing. She rocking the same stuff from the 90s. And so I'm like, "Yo, Les, what? That's what you're doing?" This is the exact same stuff that we was wearing in the 90s. And my daughter is pulling it out now. That's a part of her wardrobe. My daughter's whole wardrobe is 90s aesthetic. She not trying to dress like promiscuous and stuff. She don't wear the short stuff. My daughter wear straight up 90s aesthetic chilling. She not on this new stuff. You know what I'm saying? She on the old stuff. So that's how my daughter dressed. So iceberg sweaters, all of that. Yo, what up? All right, that's cool. Go ahead and take care of that. You said 24. They gonna change the plate on it. All right. All right, bye. So yeah, man, I just think that it's a little bit of a disconnect, and a lot of these older guys is getting butthurt about how the younger guys is criticizing them, and the younger guys are not necessarily trying to understand where the older guys is coming from. So it's always going to be a little bit of a disconnect. But it's cool though. I wouldn't even trip about it if I was busted, because all he did was get his blood pressure up. All Buster did was get his blood pressure up, and now he feeling some type of way, and he couldn't do nothing to them young guys, and he went viral. So it is what it is. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I was literally just looking at some stuff I wanted to pick up. But that's why I like Gucci. That's why I like Gucci. I like Gucci because, see, a lot of people be like, "Oh man, we only wear Amiris and Purple Label." I'm like, yeah, Gucci. I remember Dapper Dan and all of the dope boys, and they was with the gold BBSs, and they wore Gucci. Gucci was dope boy fresh. It was a hood fresh aesthetic, and so when I see that classic green and red, I'm like, I gotta have it, because that was the stuff that was fresh to us early in that time. You know what I'm saying? So I still love Gucci. I love Gucci, and I'm always. But see, here's the thing. You need to do. I like when people are confident about them. Whatever it is that you rock what you like. I want everybody to be different. I love Pelly. I had Pellies. Like I said, I got carjacked for mines. Well, I didn't get carjacked for it. I got carjacked, and then I had a Pelly on, and they took my coat to go along with it. But this was way back in the 2000s. But I want everybody to have a different style. I don't like it when everybody look the same. I don't like it when everybody is trying to fit in, or somebody is trying to be like everybody else. I like when people, you doing your style, you from your era, you may be grown men at this time, you may be having a new stuff on or whatever. I just like for people to do them. I don't really need to have a different aesthetic or rolling with their style. You know what I'm saying? My older brother that's 6 and 7 years older than me, they got a whole nother aesthetic. slightly different than mine. I never wore the I never wore the NBA all logos. That's just never been my thing. Even when it was out, that was never my thing. I like varsity jackets. I liked Pellies. I never wore Avirexes. I only rolled Pellies. I never did it's certain stuff that was of the era that I didn't do because I liked, I grew up watching my older brothers. I had brothers that were 6 or 7 years older than me. They had 8-ball jackets and Pellies. You know what I'm saying? I didn't rock the 8-ball jackets, but I grew up loving a fresh Pelly Pel, the ones that's just clean with the Pelly on the front or the back. So it was a little bit different for me. So it's different. It's different. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna get into the show. Everybody contact me during the show. I'm gonna tell you, they don't care. My people, like, listen, I know that you live streaming, but that's just a part of the show, and we a part of the show too. Shout out to the chat too. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with us. Let me acknowledge some of the super chats and the cash apps, and we also had a great show last night. Shout out to all of the panelists on the Q show. We got after hours tonight on Room 9. So that's popping. Let me see something real quick. Yo, we about to be at 100,000 subscribers on Room 9. We less than 1,200 subscribers away. I can't wait to get my people that plaque. Shout out to James Vinote, says factual content. I appreciate you, James. Thank you, my friend. Mike that dude. Mike that dude in the building. Shout out to Mike that dude. Spencer Campbell. What up, Spencer Campbell? Thank you for holding me down, my friend. I appreciate you. Let me also acknowledge the super chatters. Yo, it's Eric TV says, good morning, AD. I am the gift. Talk your talk, bro. My grandmother passed. Oh, man, prayers up for you, bro. Prayers up for you. Hopefully she passed of old age and she made it. She lived a good life. Prayers up for you, Eric TV. God bless you, my friend. Hopefully everything works out. TS Car Wash and Detail Services, AD salute. Some people don't take everything as a joke. Well, they need to because they're a public figure and they shouldn't get butthurt at every single thing. Tropical Empress and Spirit says, many blessings, handsome Anton. How are you? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling incredible. I feel incredible. Trey says, pray for me. I had a flare up this morning. Beautiful women everywhere I go. I'll be had a boxolitis flare up. TS Car Wash and Detail Service says, these other people took comedian Gerald Houston vibe. Now they trying to do it. TS Car Wash and Detail says, thought on what Marlon Wayne said about the 50 Diddy documentary. Definitely react to that. Marlon was on Big Boy talking about it. I'm not familiar with it. Y'all got to send it to me in my email. Courtney Egger says, what's good, AD? Hope your day is phenomenal, big dog. I sent you a couple of emails too. All right, let me check it. Let me get to it. David Johnson, the a-hole, 9540 says, rich niggas wear whatever the F we want. And anybody who's worried about what another man is wearing needs to get their priorities together. Talk your talk, bro. Jason Johnson says, are you coming to Cali soon? Visit Beaumont. What's happening in Beaumont? Yo, AD, did you see Mayor Mohawk crying? You talking about today? He was crying today? Because I know he had a press conference today. He was crying today? Because if he was crying today, then I'm going to pull that up right now. Country Boy Finesse, prayers up for your wife having surgery in a few minutes. God bless her. She's going to pull through and everything is going to be awesome. Is he crying today? Oh, he was crying last week. I know he had a press conference because they're saying that Chicago might shut down. Chicago might have a government shutdown. Did y'all hear about that? It was yesterday. Let me see. Let me see what's happening over there in these streets. Give me a second. Give me a second. Um,
I mean, again, there are a number of things that we should, keep in mind and have for consideration. Those things are ultimately to be determined by, having robust conversations with our interim, CEO, talking iteration of the community safety surcharge that we began to socialize with council members on yesterday. Essentially, this version would isolate to an even greater extent this revenue generating proposal would extract resources from the largest companies in the city of Chicago. These are companies that have more than 500 employees. We would raise the rate per month to $33 on roughly 175 companies, which we project would raise roughly $82 million. What this fund would do, and it would continue to drive violence down in the city of Chicago, ensuring that our community violence intervention workers are supported, that we can continue our youth employment and diversion programs, services for survivors of domestic violence and gender-based violence, and of course, mental health care for our first responders. What types of companies would this impact? Well, we're talking about the largest corporations, of course, in the city. We are not talking about your local retail shops, however. We are not talking about your mom and pop restaurants. We are talking about the companies who have done exceedingly well in this current economic climate. Some of these names you might recognize: JP Morgan, Walmart, Accenture. JP Morgan, for example, brought in $57 billion in profit last year. And keep in mind, you all, they received $11 billion in additional profit from the 2024 Trump tax breaks.
But they didn't get that from Chicago. They got that from having operations worldwide. JP Morgan didn't bring that in Chicago specifically. They can't, Jesus Christ. Shout out to JP Morgan Chase. And the reason why I'm saying shout out to JP Morgan Chase is because JP Morgan Chase recently committed to investing in Detroit more, putting billions and billions of more dollars in Detroit. And while they continue to divest out of Chicago, they're investing in Detroit. As a matter of fact, JP Morgan committed to taking up almost a whole floor in the new Hudson's building, in addition to their new headquarters over in New York. So shout out to Chicago. I'm glad that y'all mayor is doing what y'all doing, because competition is fierce and they're definitely going to make adjustments.
Which, as I've been saying, was the largest upward transfer of wealth in our nation's history. We're talking about banks like Citigroup, which made $11 billion last year, and companies like Mondelez, the world's largest snack company, reaching more than 150 countries. Don't misunderstand me. We are certainly proud of.
It's amazing how little this guy actually knows and how much he's basically pushing out employers and resources in Chicago when they need it more than ever right now.
What they prioritize is a talent pool, which Chicago certainly has. But to attract more people, we need to continue to drive crime and violence down. Our work is nowhere near from being complete. If we look at a company like Bank of America, for example, they made $27 billion in profit last year, an additional $4 billion from the Trump tax cuts. The community safety surcharge would account for roughly 0.0008% of their annual revenue. That's less than 1,000%. Another myth that we need to dispel is the idea that this would be a, quote, job killer, unquote. Let's remember, you all, we had this tax in place for more than 40 years. When you ask what city has this worked in, well, it worked in Chicago. And we know that it can work again. When we look at Chicago employment trends over time on the chart on the left.
The reason that he's saying this is because they tried it in Seattle and they immediately killed it because Amazon and Microsoft are the biggest employers over in Seattle, and they wasn't having none of that.
It certainly goes up in Chicago. When it falls nationally, it also falls in Chicago. We do not find a sustained explosion. We do not, again, find a sustained explosion in jobs after the repeal. In fact, it is difficult to tell where on this chart the repeal even happens because the trend remains constant. On the right, we see Chicago's comparative employment growth over the national average for the past 20 years. What you'll see is the period while we still had the corporate head tax had stronger job growth compared to the national average than the periods after repeal. This local margin at the cost of the repeal. Instead, Chicagoans got higher property taxes, more regressive fines and cuts to services, while large corporations essentially got a tax cut. When you look at the combined tax rates of major cities, accounting for all the relevant direct and indirect taxes, you can see that Chicago has one of the lowest corporate tax rate of any major city in the country. We have the lowest of the 3 largest cities and the 4th lowest of the top 4 municipal economies.
Which was the only reason why Chicago grew at the rate that it grew and why it was able to become the biggest city within the Midwest. But I got a feeling that that's going to start to change a little bit.
So in summary, number 1, the new model we are putting forward, responding to what we have heard from alders and residents, focuses on just the top few hundred companies. Number 2, the new model accounts for less than 0.1% for these companies. Number 3.
Now imagine if every city did that.
Job boom failed to materialize. Number 4, the repeal cost Chicagoans hundreds of millions of dollars.
What was that?
That was made up for in property taxes, regressive fines, and cuts. And finally, contrary to what you will read in the editorial boards, Chicago lags other major cities and taxing corporations to fund vital services for our residents. I do appreciate the special attention to today's presentation. And with that, me and my administration are happy to take any of your questions.
First, what happens in your view to city services, to paychecks for employees, and so on?
Well, thank you for that. Again, I'm working overtime to avoid such a scenario. We all know that the last time a budget was this contentious is when Mayor Harold Washington was the mayor, and there was a block of 29 that were quite obstinate against the efforts to transform our economy. And so that's why our team is working overtime, repeating our desire to continue to build a coalition that allows for the city of Chicago to be a model for the rest of the country. So as I
imagine Chicago being a model for the rest of the country.
Expressed yesterday, that scenario we're working to avoid. And, obviously we're not the federal government. There would be severe consequences if such a thing were to take place.
Like missing paychecks and city services not being implemented.
If the government is not funded, that is just one example of how horrific that would be for working people. Let me also say that if this budget sacrifices working people in order for it to be balanced, that is a scenario that we are working to avoid as well. We don't believe layoffs and furloughs is a healthy approach towards balancing our budget, particularly not at this time.
I want to get your reaction to the Federal Transit Administration threatening to withhold some funds from the CTA unless the city and state increase law enforcement. They were citing the attack on Bethany McGee. What's your response to that, and will you make any changes to how CBD is deployed to the trains and buses?
Well, as I've said over and over and over and over and over and over again, public safety is my top of the top priorities. And that's why we are working on ensuring that we make the necessary investments so that people will continue to ride our public transportation system and that they can do.
When he says necessary investments, and again, this is one of the reasons why I hate politicians. When he said community groups, because what they're really doing is they're defunding the police. They asked their police department to cut almost $100 million from the budget, and the police department is already down thousands of officers. So when he says the necessary investments, he's not saying that he's hiring more police officers. He's not saying that he's actually going to deploy the CPD, the Chicago Police Department, to these trains, the MTA and all of this stuff, right? What he's basically saying is the necessary funding. So you're not going to get more public safety or any of these trains or any of the public transportation systems to be more, to be safer. We already know people that got burned up on Chicago's trains and all of this stuff, which you can't put that on the shoulders, objectively speaking. You can't put that on the shoulders of Brandon Johnson and say he's responsible for the crime, but he's also responsible for the funding that goes towards preventing and solving for a lot of the crimes that don't get solved for and people getting out of jail. And then you also have the Safety Act, which he was a huge advocate for, that lets out people that's not supposed to be there, on top of trying to police illegal migrants and housing and funding the whole illegal migrant crisis that's over in Chicago. So when you combine all of that together, and then you know that he was a big proponent of defunding the police, he was one of the biggest proponents of it before he ever even became mayor. When you think about when they say, and they use specific terms like, I want to fund community investment or the necessary funding for, public safety, they won't say specifically we're trying to hire more police officers, or we need to put more police officers on the street, or we need to increase our ranks and that's where our budget needs to be. They use strategic words to avoid responsibility while not addressing the real issue that Chicagoans have. It's just the truth.
But safely. The feeling and the emotion and the experience of having crime occur on our public transportation system.
The feeling, the emotion, and the experience. It's a very easy way to communicate this. Hey, listen, we need to stop the crime and nobody should be assaulted on these trains. And that's why we're deploying more police officers into our MTA.
Is certainly detrimental to our city as a whole. And so that's why, whether it's with funding, making sure that there are safety and security measures in place, making sure that our public transportation system is supported with entities that address homelessness and as well as mental health. It's a full force of government approach. And we're going to continue to collaborate with the state and the county and all of our partners to ensure that every single rider feels absolutely safe.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
What will the new revenue projection from this revised corporate head tax mean for the buckets of categories that the revenue funds, like gender-based violence, officer wellness, all of those categories? Do you have updated revenue projections, and what's most affected by this $18 million loss?
What are you referring to?
So this new revised corporate head tax would be $82 million.
Yeah.
So what's most affected by that drop from $100 million to $82 million?
The program for small business grants would not be funded. But all of
I got you. So all of the other categories would remain at the same revenue projections.
That's correct.
Okay. Some of the 26 alders, as you know, have taken issue with who oppose your budget, have taken issue with you personally not showing up to the meetings this past weekend. Are you considering, as you talk about this revised corporate head tax, personally showing up to pitch it to alders who oppose your budget?
I'm terribly sorry that they feel that way, especially because I've had regular interactions with city council members on a consistent basis. Keep in mind, that was one meeting. Do you know how many meetings we've had with alders around this budget? Dozens and dozens and dozens of meetings, right? So, I do appreciate their desire to see my face, and I have
This guy is such a narcissist.
the best,
He is really a narcissist in real life.
most capable, competent, loving powers. I had the budget for last.
Isn't it more amicable too?
Well,
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Has the business community, any specific groups, been consulted already about this revised head tax proposal, and do you believe it's something that they're more amicable to?
Well, do I believe the Bears can get into the playoffs? I don't know if it's,
Was that some? This guy's the worst fucking politician ever. Oh my gosh, bro! Didn't they lose the Bears? Do I think that the Bears could get into the playoffs? What?
appropriate for me to, put an over under on, a belief. What I can tell you is that we're working within the confines of the facts, and the facts do matter here. That, CEOs have said to me repeatedly, Mayor Johnson, we need you to confront head on the issue of violence in this city. And I took that challenge and I take it seriously. And they've also said they believe in the programs that we're investing in, CVI, Check. They believe in youth employment. Check. In fact, many of these corporations, we're working with them to help us expand youth employment. So, we've had constant conversations with interest groups that have expressed opposition to them paying 0.0008% into community safety. The last thing that I will attempt to say around this is that this is an investment. The return on this investment from our largest corporations would be to save more lives and to create more opportunities for people. That's a worthwhile investment.
And for the roughly 350 companies that would be
175. Is that correct?
It said 350 on the slide.
It was not updated.
It's
So apologies.
175.
It's actually 175.
Regardless, for the roughly 175 companies that would be affected, do you have a dollar figure for how much that would translate to monthly and annually for those companies?
Thank you for the homework assignment. If that number is important to you, we'll try to do that math. Jill, thank you.
Good morning. Do you plan to work with the CTA at all to address these safety demands from the FTA?
Do I plan to work? We work with the CTA all the time.
Are there specific measures that you'd like to see?
Yeah,
as
so
you
as we
receive?
talked about, like these investments, again, as I've said repeatedly, we do have to look at what the security apparatus looks like for public transportation. CPD plays a role in that. The City Department of Public Health plays a role in that. All of us play a role in ensuring that CTA riders experience maximum safety.
They sent a letter. Do you plan to respond to the
Yes.
FTA? You do?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we heard from one rider this morning that they think it might be an overreach from the federal government to send you and the governor a letter to make these demands. Do you feel that way?
I believe that what this administration is doing, there's no question that they have not only trampled on our Constitution, but, I don't need a letter from the Trump administration to tell me what my priorities are, because we've already made them clear what our priorities are. And we certainly, do not need an administration that continues to politicize, on what really could be addressed collectively. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
How are you? This is another question about the transportation letter that was just sent overnight. Last question with this is basically you all don't have a permanent leader over CTA right now. So how does that put more pressure on you and other leaders here in the city and within the county to try to make this safer for riders?
Yeah, there's no pressure there. No.
Morning, Mayor.
How is it no pressure if you don't even have anybody that's manning and leading the Chicago Transportation Authority?
Good morning.
I'm wondering if you put this new proposal out, do you figure this is going to give you, allow you to pick off a few of the opposition alders, as I might call them, and will you then go ahead and present a budget in the coming days or next week to get a vote on your plan?
Mm-hmm. Well, look, there are some alders that have expressed a desire to concentrate this revenue stream for community safety to a more hyper group of corporations. This does that. In fact, one thought was if we establish this revenue stream using the guidelines of what the federal guidelines constitute as a small business, I put that in quotations intentionally, this certainly addresses that. But it also ensures that the people who still believe that this is a worthwhile investment, that it protects us in that regard as well, right? Because there are a number of alders that have made it very clear that absent this community safety fund, they would have a difficult time supporting this budget, right? So do I think that this places us in a stronger position? I do, because, again, you all have asked, and I've repeatedly demonstrated my willingness to have compromise around the details of my values. Here is yet another example where our values and investing in community safety are maintained and negotiating the details around that to ensure that we can still accomplish it. That's what.
So let me tell y'all what's really happening. All right. Let me give y'all the skinny after all of this word salad and all of this stuff, right? This is what's going to happen. Property taxes are going to continue to go up in Chicago. Businesses are going to continue to be taxed in Chicago. Businesses will leave Chicago at an alarming rate, both small businesses and large businesses. They will continue to divest from Chicago, which will basically create a much faster doom loop than you ever thought of before. The burden will continue to be shifted onto the middle class and to the people that are in less desirable neighborhoods. And they're going to try to sell you on the idea that the value of the property is going up, and that's why your property taxes is going up. That is going to expedite the possible bankruptcy. And I predict, I am going to tell you the same way that I told you the year before and the year before that. Chicago's previous budget deficit was expected to be $1.15 billion for this year. It is $1.6 billion this year. Next year, it is going to be projected to be 1.5 to 1.6 billion. And it's probably going to go up to 1.8, 1.9. The interest rates that Chicago is paying because they were recently downgraded is going to go up. Chicago is going to look to borrow more money to fill in budget holes and budget gaps, which will then be spread out evenly amongst property taxpayers. And they're going to try to figure out how they can tax more while businesses continue to leave the city. All while Trump highlighting how they feel like the numbers are going down. You're going to see juicing of the numbers. You're going to see misrepresentation of how they report on crime. You're going to see less police officers, less community advocates. And I also predict there's going to be more people that get way more money and try to siphon out all of them dollars, them tax dollars, out of Chicago. And then eventually you'll have a situation where within a few years, maybe 5 at the most, it'll possibly be bankruptcy time. Because, and this is the reason why, Chicago does not outline a path to profitability as a city. Right now, they are in what I like to call crisis mode. Crisis mode is, how do we kick the can down the road for next year, but we're not outlining a way for the city to be successful and to recover, and then to ultimately be able to balance our budget pre-COVID spending. They are not getting more businesses coming to the city. They are not opening up more small businesses. They are not generating more revenue. And that is the biggest problem in Chicago. Listen to what I'm saying. In any company, and let's be clear, whether you're talking about your own household, regular personal budget, or you're talking about running a business, or you're talking about a major business that is a publicly traded company, or you're talking about a city, or you're talking about the federal government. If you don't increase revenue, you will die. You cannot cost cut your way to success unless it is paired with opportunity that then increases revenue. It is like Kmart. Chicago is Kmart. Chicago is Sears. When Kmart was dying and Walmart was rising, what Kmart tried to do was finesse shareholders by saying, Kmart and Sears, they tried to finesse shareholders by saying, well, we're going to cut costs and we're going to continue to reduce spending while increasing prices, and hopefully we'll be able to compete and ultimately we'll be able to get ourselves out of this situation. What I'm trying to tell you is that if there is no pathway to growth, profitability, you cannot continue to ride the backs of people that cannot afford to continue to pay higher taxes and property taxes. The schools will continue to be defunded. Police officers will continue to be defunded, and he will continue to try to blame Trump for what this city is to become. You have to generate revenue. You cannot not generate revenue. If you go to war with the business community that pays the majority of the taxes, listen, I don't care how much money you continue to go through. Think about it like this. Let's say you make $100,000 a year, right? And you funding the lifestyle of your side chick. Or you funding the lifestyle of your main hoe. Because if you're not married, then we just going to say your main hoe and your side chick, all right? And you don't get a raise on your job, but you got higher expenses. And then your main hoe come to you and say, hey, listen, my lifestyle is increasing. And I know you make $100,000 a year, but I need you to give me an extra $500-$600 a month. And I don't know where you're going to cut it from, but you got to continue to increase that. And then the side chicks say, I need you to do the same thing, especially if I'm going to stay quiet. And you can't really get rid of these chicks because they said, I'm not going nowhere. But then the next year after that, let's say, for example, you had to take a lower position and you bringing in less revenue. So you went from $100,000 to $85,000 a year, but your property taxes went up, your car costs went up, and the hoes are saying, listen, this is the lifestyle that I'm used to, so I need an additional $600 a month on top of the previous months. That was eventually, as the revenue goes down and the expenses go up, something got to give. And you'll file for bankruptcy. I like to try to make it more relatable to people so that they'll understand exactly what's going on, because all of this rhetoric and stocks and publicly traded companies and all of that don't really matter, right? If you are a high earner, let's say you making millions of dollars, because we see it from NFL players, NBA players, former actors and all of that. And they was making millions while they was in the league, but they got an 18-year alimony / child support bill, right? Alimony and child support bill. And let's say you paying her $20,000 a month because that's the lifestyle that she used to. But now you tore your Achilles or it's time to retire and you don't make the same amount of money. And no matter how many podcasts you try to start, you don't generate the type of revenue that you generating, but you still got the same bills because you never paid off your house. You still got the property taxes that's going up. Still trying to maintain a lifestyle. And your host still want $20,000 a month in order for her to be able to maintain it because she married a baller. That's how athletes go broke within 5 years. And this is how Chicago is going to go broke within 6. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Listen, when you select a chick, you have to select the chick based off of what your future earnings, which could be downgraded. You might get with a chick because guess what? Once your earnings start to go down, you decided to get into the mix with a chick that's used to dealing with a James Harden. And now when the retirement comes, she got to move on to a whole nother guy. You know why? Because she looking to live that lifestyle. And you got to adjust because you don't bring in the same type of money no more. Somebody said, according to Chicago Flips Red, there's a $200 million for new arrivals hidden in the budget proposal. Are they crazy? Why is no one saying anything about this? Next thing you know, you see Andrea hanging out with Jalen Green. I don't respond no more. I just made up in my mind I'm going to be more vigilant about not responding to niggas that don't got profile pictures. I don't respond to people that don't have profile pictures. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes I will, but I'm being more vigilant because I think that I want to know who I'm talking to. I can't be sitting there going back and forth with broke niggas. I can't go back and forth. What a broke nigga. What a broke nigga. let's see what we got over here. Y'all want to go over to Jasmine Crockett? Well, let's read some super chats and then we'll get over to Jasmine Crockett. Let's deep dive into that. Facts, Anton, it does make for great derailment content. Yeah, but sometimes it's not fun. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. So many brokies. What's your email? No, you didn't just say that, TS Car Wash and Detail Service. I'm pretty sure that they told you inside of the chat. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. And I'm in Beaumont, Cali right now. Don't come here. What's in Beaumont, Cali? What's happening in Beaumont, Cali? Let's see. Beaumont, California. Pros and cons of living in Beaumont, California.
Okay, are you thinking about buying a home in Beaumont, California? Well, before you do, I think there are some things you need to think about before you decide to plant some roots there in Beaumont. There are some very appealing things about Beaumont that we'll get into as well. But we're going to take a look at both sides, right? The pros and the cons of living in. Okay, so like I said, this video is going to be about the pros and cons of living in Beaumont, California. So not necessarily looking at the real estate itself. If you want to have this video instead, positive, and start with the number one pro of living in Beaumont, and that is affordability. Especially if you're coming from elsewhere, the outside of California is just so high. Now, it depends where you're coming from, right? Because it's all relative. But in terms of Southern California, Beaumont is actually quite livable, right? You're about an hour and a half inland from the coast. So your normal goods.
What's the point of living in California if you're an hour and a half away from the coast? That don't make sense. What the hell is y'all doing?
Okay, now if I were you, this would be the major question I would want answering before deciding if I were going to move my family to Beaumont, right? If you have young kids like I do, your kids are eventually going to be going to high school and you want them in a good spot in their high school years, right? Beaumont has one high school, right? Home of the Cougars, great place, great high school. My question is there another high school coming, right? When I was in high school many, many years ago, for sure of living in Beaumont is just having to deal with traffic in general. Just one for me. Another pro to living in Beaumont is the golf courses. Another con is the weather, right? And this could be debated. I could hear it from the other side. Really comes down to personal preference. But for me, overall, the weather for me is a con living in Beaumont. You know, it can get so hot, right? We'll have 2 or 3 months in a row sometimes of just oppressive heat. And it's like we endure all that heat, you know, from July, August, September, sometimes even October, and sometimes, heck, you know, it's been Thanksgiving. And okay, now let's get back on the positive side of things. Another pro to living in Beaumont is just experiencing the consistent growth that living in Beaumont is its location, right? Beaumont is rather centrally located when you look at the big picture in Southern California. A good spot to be. Okay, now another pro to living in Beaumont is.
All right, that's nice and boring. I got an antique store. I don't want to go nowhere where they got an antique store at. So, all right, you're right. I'm not going to come to Beaumont, Texas. Good morning, Anton. He was sitting down here when he was crying after it got shot down. Oh, when they shot it down? AR is back, says, what willfully ignorant fool thought I'd love to write speeches for Mayor Mohawk? TS Car Wash and Detail Service says Chicago mayor head is fried. Gonna be in Ghost Town. After a decade, Foot Locker announces FCFS midnight release for Christmas Jordans. Chicago is one of 3 locations incoming mass gathering. Oh yeah, they got Nike Town and stuff there. So I heard that people were standing in line for the Pharrells. I couldn't believe it. I heard that people was fighting for the Pharrell Adidas jellyfish, and it was starting to get crazy. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna do it. So, God bless y'all for the sneaker culture and y'all going for the Adidas jellyfish. I'm just not interested personally. Let me get into Jasmine Crockett real quick. Jasmine Crockett. This is her release for Senate. So Jasmine Crockett is launching a bid for Senate in Texas. And so this was her ad. She leveraged the whole Trump thing for her ad for the bid.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding. Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
So that's her ad to launch for bid for Senate. And so she did a speech yesterday. Is starting to get some traction on a lot of different platforms. So I'm going to look at it from a couple different perspectives, and we're going to go from there. All right. So first, let's look at it from CNN's perspective. Then we're going to get it from Fox News's perspective.
Brand new in our politics lead, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is getting into the Texas Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate with the help of President Trump. Well, here's her new campaign launch video.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party.
Right? I mean, here to discuss. Karen, what do you think of that launch video?
I love it. Good for her. It's different, right? I mean, this is in this media environment, you got to break through, and that's one way to break through. And she clearly understands, at least to start in a primary, right? You got to raise money. And how do you raise money? You raise money by saying, this is the guy we're going to be fighting against, right? So I thought it was great. I love it.
And
she looks gorgeous, by the way.
Here's what former Congressman Allred, former NFL player, told CNN's Dana Bash earlier today about his decision to withdraw his bid for Senate and run for a House seat instead. Take a listen.
Jasmine Crockett is very openly considering running. Is that part of why you decided to not run anymore?
Yeah, of course it is. And I think, listen, Jasmine's a friend of mine, and we've served together. I've known her since before we were both, in elected office. But it was about the fact that with three strong candidates running, that we would certainly have a runoff.
So this does leave the Democratic primary field open right now, pretty much between State Representative James Tallarico, who we had on the show last week, and now Congresswoman Crockett. Who do you think will be the stronger Democrat to take on the Republican? And it's not just a throwaway because it's Texas, because it does look like the Republicans in Texas are not going to stick with their incumbent Senator John Cornyn, and they're going to go with a guy who's got a lot more baggage.
It's probably going to be Ken Paxton. I'd be surprised if Cornyn figured out a way to pull it out, the hat out of the bag, as they say. But I was talking to someone who's close to the Congresswoman, and they made two interesting points to me. If it is Ken Paxton, they personally believe that Jasmine Crockett, according to some early internal data, would be a more superior candidate than Tallarico. Two, Texas has the largest number of black voters of any southern state, which I actually did not know. I was just made aware of this. And so they're looking at those dynamics and they're saying, hey, we think we could have a competitive opportunity to potentially win the state. Now, as a conservative, I am a bit worried about Paxton. I think we should stick with Cornyn. That would be in our best interest, but it doesn't appear to be what Texas voters want, Jake. And so if that's the decision that they choose, it's going to be a tough race ahead.
Well, let's talk about that. The polls on the Republican side, recent polls show the incumbent Senator John Cornyn. He's running behind Attorney General Paxton and Congressman Wesley Hunt, who's something of a conservative firebrand as well. How do you see all the math on this? I mean, there is an argument to be made that maybe Democrats should go with a more centrist candidate if the seat is actually up for grabs. I'm not saying I'm making it.
No, agreed. And look, that is going to be what you hear from, I would argue, probably the party committees, right? Because they like to play it safe. But here's the thing about someone like a Jasmine Crockett. Number one, she is going to excite new voters and potentially, depending upon how they're thinking about the race, take a look at the state and say, how do I get those Black voters who aren't voting, who aren't registered? Let's get them registered. Let's get them engaged. Let's do the same thing with Latino voters. Meanwhile, on the Republican side, it feels like, I mean, to say Ken Paxton has baggage is a very generous way to say it, right? And so the Republican side is going to have a conversation about, well, which do we want? What do we want to defend? The status quo, the baggage? What are we doing here? In particular,
I don't think that that's a smart strategy personally, but what do I know? Just objectively speaking, let's remove my disagreement with what Jasmine Crockett represents, and let's just speak on what's being communicated and her actually running for a Senate seat over in the state of Texas, right? If the strategy is the way that I'm going to beat the Republican incumbents, right? Not necessarily even an incumbent, but the Republicans that generally hold the seat. If my strategy is, well, the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to leverage Trump against the people in Texas, and then B, my goal is to get more Black people in Texas engaged and Latino voters so that we can actually mount and campaign so that we can possibly make it into the Senate, then I don't see that working. Because the one thing that I know for sure, and two things is for certain, is that, and I hate to say this, but people that are not engaged are not looking to get engaged because you are Jasmine Crockett. I don't believe that Jasmine Crockett personally is transformative. Even this whole launching of the campaign, it was like almost a whisper. I was reluctant personally to even put her on the cover of this live stream today because I was thinking to myself, it doesn't move the needle. I watched her speech yesterday when she launched it on the live stream, and I was like, man, y'all got to show the crowd because it doesn't look like or sound like anybody is really engaged to get behind Jasmine Crockett in her fight for a Senate seat in Texas. They say that there are more Black people in Texas than anywhere. I just don't see anybody getting engaged and standing up. And listen, if she wins, she wins. God bless her. But I don't personally see anybody personally getting engaged to go and mount an effort to get behind Jasmine Crockett. Now, I could be wrong about that. Black people and Latino voters could absolutely say, you know what, we're going to mount this campaign and we feel engaged and we really start to care about politics now that Jasmine Crockett is running for a Senate seat. But we'll see. This is what the Republicans are saying. Greg Abbott is saying that she's going to get crushed.
Progressive movement's most vocal members wants to be a U.S. Senator now. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is jumping into the race for the seat currently held by Republican Senator John Cornyn. Congressional correspondent Bill Malugin takes a look tonight from Capitol Hill.
Texas Congresswoman
Somebody said Black people are dumb enough to vote for her. I don't think that has anything to Black people. I think that that's more or less Black culture, A. And B, it's about engagement. It's not necessarily about whether they would vote for her or not. A lot of people make TikToks. A lot of people say a lot of things, but that doesn't necessarily translate into people showing up at the polls. And that's what people don't understand. Showing up at the polls is a completely getting people to show up at the polls and be educated about what they're voting for is a completely different conversation from whether or not people will follow you on Instagram or if they will watch a video on, YouTube about you. It's a whole nother game. Different game. It's almost like there are content creators that may have a small or halfway decent following on the internet, but when they show up in person, will anybody actually go to see them, or do they only watch them to laugh at them on the internet? Engagement is different depending on the audience that you serve and where you serve. Engagement is completely different. So if I'm removing how I feel personally about Jasmine Crockett, and I'm just talking about whether or not she can win, ads, all of that stuff, popularity, Whether or not you get it or not, none of that matters if you cannot get an engaged audience that is behind you, or if people are just using you as a punching bag for content on the internet. It's two different things. It's two different things. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you as a person that has done countless meetups in countless cities. I've been out to Los Angeles. I've been in New York. I've been in Atlanta. I've done them in Miami. I've done them here in Detroit. I did it over anywhere you go. Washington, D.C., New York. I've been all over this country, and I've met people. And when I say, hey, I'm showing up, and it's a lot of content creators that can't do that. A lot of people is watching it on their device and doing like this versus people that actually having a conversation in person. Very few people can say that they go out and talk to and can touch the people. And it's the same thing that happens in politics. If you want to gauge your impact, then how many people actually show up when you ask them to versus people that just engage with you on the internet. It's a completely different thing.
Jasmine Crockett announcing tonight she will run for U.S. Senate in Texas and will try to unseat incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn. Crockett is one of the Democrats' most controversial and outspoken members of Congress.
I hate the fact that Donald Trump became president. The orange orangutan, the Timu Hitler.
Her House seat will be redrawn as a result of Texas's
I can't, bro. I can't. Listen to this, bro.
Spoken members of Congress.
I hate the fact that Donald Trump became president. The orange orangutan, the Timu Hitler.
Her House seat will be redrawn as a result of Texas's new congressional maps, which the Supreme Court upheld last week. That decision is leading Crockett to reach for higher office with support from her colleagues.
Jasmine is a fighter. She's an incredibly dynamic person. She's got a message that's resonating not only with the Democratic base, but I think with Americans across the country.
But before she can take on Senator Cornyn, she first has to win the Democratic primary. That is against Texas State Rep James Tallarico, the only other candidate remaining after former Texas Democratic Congressman Colin Allred dropped out of the race this morning.
But it was about the fact that with three strong candidates running, that we would certainly have a runoff.
But Texas Governor Greg Abbott is throwing cold water on Crockett's Senate aspirations, writing, quote, "Most Texans are very different from her district, her base, and her values. She'll be pummeled for her progressive socialist agenda and get crushed by the Republican nominee for Senate."
And Brett, just a short time ago, we did catch up with Senator John Cornyn here at the Capitol. He told us he believes that Jasmine Crockett will win the Democratic primary for his seat, but he added that he believes she is the worst possible candidate for Democrats in Texas, and he says she is, quote, unelectable. Now, Cornyn is facing his own primary for his seat on the Republican side. He's being challenged by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Texas Republican Congressman Wesley Hunt. President Trump has not yet made an endorsement in that race.
So, again, just bringing y'all the news and letting y'all know what is going on. Jasmine Crockett, and I'm assuming that she's probably gonna go with the same rhetoric. It's hilarious to even think that I remember when people were saying Kamala Harris should pick Jasmine Crockett as her running mate for 2028, and I was like, what? Like, that would quite possibly be one of the worst decisions of any Democrat ever. Kamala Harris, I think that Kamala Harris probably is going to mount another bid. Kamala Harris should pick Jasmine Crockett, then you should have two double black women running for president in 2028. Oh my God. So that is what's happening. I'm just reporting the news. I don't really have any additional context or comment about it. Jasmine Crockett is launching her seat, or her run for Senate. I emailed you the Marlon Diddy Doc situation. Let me see what you're talking
But yo, look, nah. You working with Puff for 30 years. You saw Big before he passed? Yeah. Bro, so you're close. Jack, what were you saying?
In the documentary, there was insinuations of, that Diddy possibly had something to do with both Tupac and Biggie. And,
Who's telling the story, right? You can skew people very close to the situation. But you can create any narrative as a producer and as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what? You have. I could create a narrative.
Well,
I could
we
be
see
like,
it all the time in reality shows.
Like, nah, reality shows.
Yeah,
You're creating a narrative.
It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews. I can do this. I can get footage, and I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's
People are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it.
It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. That's the way Puff is down on his luck, and 50's kicking a man when he's down. If 50 ever luck turn on 50, that you gotta be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
I'm trying to figure out how 50 Cent became the boogeyman. Why should celebrities be afraid of 50 is what I'm trying to understand. I don't even know if Marlon Wayne said anything that was crazy. What did he say that was crazy? I don't even think that Marlon Wayne's picked a side. He didn't pick a side. He said, listen, consider the source. Consider the source and then make your own decisions. So, okay, let me ask y'all a question. If y'all don't want people to give their honest opinion, this is why I hate the public sometimes, is because they want people to go with what they said. They don't want people to give their honest perspective about how they feel about the whole situation. Y'all only riding 50's dick because y'all don't necessarily like Puff. I remember, I come from a different era. I remember when people picked Kanye over 50 when they was having their little back and forth in battle. And it was all yay, we don't fuck with Fifth no more at the time. And then it shifted because 50 repurposed. And then a lot of people was kind of on the fence when him and Ross was going back and forth. And now they back on the 50 train because they against Puff. People are fickle. People are fickle. They gon' switch up and they gonna do it and they gonna act like that they bandwagoners. Most of the time, people bandwagon whoever it is that's most popular at the time. And that's what they're going to do. That's why Kanye outsold 50, because people was rolling with Ye over Fifth and they switched up on Fifth. Y'all said it's another part? All right, let me look at the other part real quick and then we got to move on. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out. I just looked at the other part. I'm still trying to figure out what all of the issues are. Anyways, moving on. I don't really care about it, to be honest with you. It sounds like, messiness, and I'll really honestly, I'm gonna give you the real skinny, is that I honestly believe that all of this is just a distraction. And when we see all of this bullshit, what happens to Puff is not going to change our lives even a little bit. But we get caught up in so much bullshit and so much nonsense that we genuinely give a fuck about whether or not 50 is beefing with Marlon Wayans over dropping a Diddy documentary. If this is not the lowest hanging fruit that I could ever think of, I don't know what is. This is all, in my opinion, just a distraction, because there's bigger issues that's happening inside of the United States of America that we're not even paying attention to. We're not having no conversations about Ukraine and Russia. We're not having no conversations about Israel no more. All of a sudden, everybody then fell off the bandwagon and nobody is paying attention to where the money is. They didn't forgot about food stamps. The government still needs to negotiate, right? Because the extension is still in place. And so eventually we're going to be revisiting the conversation about whether or not the government is still supposed to be open or not. But we sitting here talking about a goddamn Diddy documentary, and we like, as far as whether or not 50 like Diddy. What? Tehran, nobody is having a conversation about the capital of Iran running out of water. The capital of Iran is running out of water, and nobody cares. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody said nothing at all. So water crisis in different parts of the earth. It's evictions happening everywhere. People are losing their properties. There's a foreclosure crisis. They have over 10 million cars on repossession. And we're talking about Marlon Wayans and 50 posting a white girl's photo and says, "Shut your mouth, boy." Oh, and what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Mike, is that what moved the needle? At the very least, I remember growing up that moving the needle was at the very least a diss track. All you got to do is post a picture on Instagram or post something on X, formerly known as Twitter, and everybody, ooh. And don't get me wrong, I like entertainment too, but we at least got to mix it in with stuff that's relevant, right? Y'all don't mix it in. Y'all don't balance it out. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of nonsense over here, and then we're going to get a little bit of context over there. Then that way we're going to have a balanced perspective of how we're going to go about doing things, mix a little bit of entertainment, get to the money, mix a little bit of entertainment, talk about what's happening from a political perspective, mix a little bit in it. Chicago is literally about to have a government shutdown, and people are worried about whether or not Marlon Wayans, which celebrity is picking a side. How did Cedric the Entertainer react? But this is wrong. This is wrong. When people are starving, you give them games. When people are starving, you create a beef. I would be, listen, do you know what I'm more disappointed in on this whole Diddy's whole situation? I'm more disappointed that the government spent millions and millions of dollars to prosecute and chase down a dude that they knew that they had no case for because of the court of public opinion. Our government spent millions of dollars to chase down a dude that they had no case for at all. And everybody was enamored with it. And everybody just was like, oh, okay, cool. Y'all don't check what they using the budget for. They deploying all kind of resources and all of this stuff. They spent all of this money for a promotional witch hunt. It's a distraction. It's all the lawyers is the only people that benefited from that. Diddy's lawyers, government lawyers, they the only ones that benefited from it. migrant crisis, fraud everywhere, food stamps, and we sitting here worried about the number one thing that's in America is the Diddy documentary. The number one thing in America is a Diddy documentary. Y'all don't know nothing about. People spent, think about this for a second, y'all. Let's put this in perspective. And then we're going to move on with the show. People spent at minimum 4 hours. Now, I don't even watch Netflix or Amazon Prime, but now that we have, I'm in popular culture. So I get paid to talk about stuff that's happening, whether it's money, politics, popular culture, or whatever, right? So I get paid for this shit. So it's incentivized for me to watch it. We talk about it on Sunday, so I had to pull it up and I had to go and watch. People spent 4 fucking hours of their time, but they won't spend 1 hour on nothing self-improvement related as far as learning a new skill. Niggas won't go to school. Niggas won't do a master class. They will make sure that they sign up for the highest tier of Netflix and all watch it as a group, but the niggas won't even get no game when it comes to these stocks, real estate, nothing. Families is poor as fuck. You'll watch it on an Obama phone and be poor right after, and then it'll be sitting there sending me a conversation talking about, man, I'm gonna join the bag chasers in a month. That's why I don't have no sympathy for nobody. That's why I don't feel no type of way, because information is available. It's there every single day, but we consume BS all day long. Hey man, you even know anything about the Bible? You call yourself a Christian. Have you read the Bible? No, but I checked out that Diddy documentary. When the last time you read a book? Do you even know your city council people? Do you know who your representative is in Congress? Do you know who your state rep is? Do you know what the millages that are being proposed? Niggas show up at the movie theater to see Tron, Zootopia, and goddamn Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and don't know shit about, we gotta go there. New spot opening up in the spot. Don't even know who your goddamn teacher is for your daughter or your son. Don't even know who your daughter or your son's teacher is, but niggas is in the spots. Bro, we so distracted from bullshit. We're so, killer animatronics. All we do is play video games, sports bet, and goddamn watch streaming services, Netflix and shit, so that we can be gossip girls on the internet about a bunch of nothing. A bunch of nothing. And it's cool if you, again, I'm not telling you that you got to be 100% immersed 100% of your time in only beneficial things. You got to balance it out, right? But there is no balances all the way on the other side. It's all the way on the other side. No growth. Brain development is dead. If it ain't about something that's so low-hanging fruit, low IQ, then we don't want to know anything about it. That's why I say I got to mix the candy in, the medicine in with the candy. We ain't talking about nothing. We don't know nothing about culture. You ain't visited nowhere. Your kids is dumb and retarded because you dumb and retarded. Why do you think that your children are supposed to be any different than you when you dumb and retarded? That's all you do is listen, and they watch you listening and watching low-hanging fruit. Sitting there watching. That's why I don't debate no more. That's why I don't do debates. Because it's a waste of time. For what? You're just looking at it from an entertainment perspective. It doesn't necessarily add any value. What's the point? What's the point of having a debate? I'd rather just have a conversation or an interview with somebody that's intelligent and be able to pick their brain. I'm not even interested in a debate no more. It's such low fucking hanging fruit. So low, so small, minuscule, low hanging fruit. Bro, if we not talking about getting some money or changing a culture or fixing something, or elevating. That's why I like going into the Patreon, because when I get to the Patreon, I can just go straight into it and we just talking that shit. We just get into the bag. We just talking about elevation, growth, mindset, evolution, stocks, everything that is beneficial. I don't have to put medicine in the candy. I go straight to the medicine. I think that low-hanging fruit is for rich people. Because I genuinely never had time when I didn't have money. I didn't have time to be talking about shit that wasn't. Bro, I'm about to get on. I'm about to move on. But when I was broke, nigga, I didn't watch TV. I didn't play video games. I didn't watch TV. I wasn't even on social media. I didn't even get on social media until I started my YouTube channel, when they said you got to get on this because it's a form of social media. I told somebody the other day, they say, Anton, because they was asking me if they should get off social media. I said, how does it benefit you? They said, well, you know, I'll be wanting to know about what's going on with this and this entertainment and this person or whatever. And they said, what would you do? I said, bro, if I wasn't a content creator, I would not even be on Instagram or TikTok, because I would be just living real life and I would be trying to get to the money. I would probably have YouTube, because I think that there's a lot of beneficial things that come along with YouTube. But man, I don't give a fuck about this shit. I don't care about Instagram. I don't care about TikTok. It ain't no money on there for me. I genuinely, bro, when I retire, whenever that is, I'm out. I'm completely out. X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever the fuck you thinking, whatever it is, outside of leaving my content up on you, I'm gone. When I'm done, I'm done. I don't want to even know what the fuck is going on, bro. Don't care even a little bit. Too many real life hoes, too many money to get for, traveling, busting down a bag. Don't give a fuck about what's happening on no internet. When I'm done, whenever that is, 10, 20 years, 15 years from now, 5 years, whenever that is, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm ceremoniously exiting and I'm out. Don't care about none of that shit. Immersing myself in real life. That's my sentiment. That's how I'm rolling. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to 392Q says if she loses, they gonna blame misogyny. Look at the other email also. He didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say nothing wrong at all. No, people love the villain. People out here saying since Marlon said that he was on them Diddy tapes. See, hold on, bro. They was just rolling with Marlon when Marlon was going back and forth with Vlad, and Marlon was sitting there posing. I think Marlon got a gay son or something like that, an alphabet community son. And let me tell you how fickle people are. When Marlon was with the alphabet community photos and everybody was rolling with him. Now Diddy says, watch your mouth, boy. 50 say, watch your mouth, boy. And now the same motherfuckers is turning against him. They was all for the black community until 50 posted the photo and said, watch your mouth, boy. Oh, that's why I do what I do. And I get off this mug, man. A bunch of sheep just flowing with the wind. I don't even like Marlon. What up, AD says Sarge. Thank you, brother, for the value you bring us. Keep inspiring, my brother. I got you, bro. I'm on it. I'm cooking. What we talking about, bro? Let's get into something new. Let's see. Jasmine Crockett. We got to that. Fraud. All right. Let me see something. I don't know if I really want to get into the Netflix conversation because I kind of covered that, so I'm gonna hold off on that. Palantir, no, I'm not gonna dig into that. Let's get into this. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
A Cook County judge denied allowing tenants more time to move out of 7500 South Shore Drive. She called the building a fire trap for numerous safety issues. She says she's trying to protect the tenants by getting them out of a dangerous situation. Some residents tell us they don't have anywhere to go.
We are in an emergency situation. Some of us are still stuck in this building. Some of us have been stuck in this building. Friday is our last day.
Tenants of 7500 South Shore Drive have 4 days to move out. They are being evicted after weeks of legal action over dangerous conditions reported in the building. Some of those conditions allegedly left after federal agents raided the building in September. The Trump administration released a highly produced video of the incident.
It took a military invasion to get the city to pay attention. We did not cause this building to deteriorate, and yet we have to live with the consequences of it. We did not call ICE to raid this building, and yet me and my neighbors had to deal with those consequences.
A judge appointed a receiver last month to coordinate closing the building and relocate.
Bro, look at this building, bro. Bro, that's a trap. That's a trap. That's a trap. That's the projects, bro. That's not a livable situation. Look at the bottom windows. That's not even livable, bro. I know they lying, Mika. Bro, that is Cabrini Green's facts. Shout out to everybody that know everything about that in Detroit. That is a trap. Real talk. They say those are squatters. Lex, you said those are squatters. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Appointed a receiver last month to coordinate closing the building and relocating tenants. Today, the judge denied.
A lot of times that's why people don't want to leave. It's not that the living conditions is good. It's that they basically live in there without any kind of responsibility, and they living for free. Whenever you see the window open but it's snow outside,
an extension for tenants to stay in the building beyond Friday, calling the building a fire trap.
Look at that, bro. You know how you know this is fake? Listen, they made those signs right there on the spot.
Some of the tenants formed a tenants union. All parties seem to agree the building is unlivable, but some tenants say finding another place mid-month, mid-winter that's affordable has been difficult, and they say they haven't been getting the help promised.
People have been trying to get out of this building, right? It's not that people don't want to leave. It's not that people are dragging their feet. It's that it's hard.
I don't have anywhere to go. I'll be homeless Friday. From where it stands now, I don't have anywhere to go.
Where are we going to go, America? We still trying to figure that out.
Hold on, dog. Let me say this. All right, look. Let me give you my take. Y'all can hold me accountable if y'all want to. I understand the women. I can understand older people that's disabled, complaining and squatting and trying to figure it out. That's how I roll. Bro, if you are an able-bodied man, figure it out. If you are an able-bodied man, figure it out. I don't want to see no Asian-bodied men zero able-bodied men sitting here having a conversation on a news conference or holding up a mother effing sign talking about where we gonna go. Nigga, I don't give a fuck where you go. Men, figure it out. If you a man between the ages of 18 all the way up until 55, figure it the fuck out. 18 to 60, figure it out, dog. I have no sympathy for these guys that's sitting here saying, where we gonna go, man? I don't know what's gonna happen. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it, man. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. Where you ain't got no motivation. You don't want to do nothing different. Nigga, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You only can sleep 6, 7, 8 hours. You got 14, 15, 16 hours, 17, 18, 19 hours to go and figure out how to go get you some money, bro. I need to go figure out I need to go get some money. Sleep floors, dry cars, whatever you got to do, go get you some money, bro. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, bro. I just don't understand how grown men are. No grown, able-bodied man in the United States of America should be homeless. Zero. None. Nada. Zilch. Not a man on the face of the earth that is able-bodied. And when I say man, I'm not talking about child. I'm not talking about kid. Not a man on the face of this earth. Every single man in America should have a suitable place to lay their head at night. That's crazy, bro. That in America, we not even in hunter-gatherer. We not in saber-toothed tigers or something. We not in Africa. You not in Somalia. Man, you are grown. You got arms, legs, and you can speak English. You should be getting the bag. And I hate when people say, this is not life. I'm so confused about what is going on. Oh my God, I got mental health because I'm not doing as well as I do. Bro, there were periods in history where the only thing that they did was hunt all day and try to seek refuge. Their entire life, you know what your life was? Being raised up to ultimately hunt and to find refuge. And you might get you some pussy if you can convince somebody from a village to let their daughter come and lay with you. The only thing they did was try to figure out how to prevent themselves from getting eaten, how to go hunt something down, and how to go and find some refuge and shelter. They in the harvest months, they prayed, worried, and worked their ass off. In the wintertime, they tried to figure out how to make it last and went and hunt for some food. That's all they did was hunt, sleep, and eat. And guess what happened if you didn't win? You died. Catch a disease, die. Get caught by a tiger, die. Get swept away, die. Get caught looking at another man's chick, die. I ain't got enough food to eat for the winter, you and family die. Nigga, they were sailing across whole oceans trying to seek refuge and find a better land. Nigga, you think they did that because they was having fun? They did that because they was trying to figure out how to make it work. Fall off a cliff, die. No cell phones, no help, no police, no ambulance, no hospital, no nothing. You just die. Sprain your ankle, die. Pinky is hanging off, you better cut it off or you die. That's it. That's it. It was survival of the fittest and go get it. You niggas is over here trying to figure out how you gonna have a place to live, and you in the United States, taxpayers feeding you, the women letting you sleep on the couch. The fuck is wrong with you niggas? Get your work ethic up. From bottom. If you took everything away from me right now, first thing I'm doing, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm not going to sit here and have no conversations. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. I don't got time for pussy. I ain't got time for no hoes. I ain't talking on no phones. I don't want to do none of that. I'm hustling. Give me 1 year. Give me a year. I'm back. And I'm better than ever. Give me 1 year. I'm back to the top 1%. 1 year, everything is back on board. What the fuck is y'all doing? I remember my man's, he wound up getting a divorce. My homie, this was a long time ago. And he said, hey man, can I come and bum at your place for a couple days? And I said, yeah, all right, cool. And so he slept on my couch for a couple days. And then it was like 5 days. And I was getting up and going to work every day. And I said, hey, bro, I can't just have you laying on the couch. When I'm gone, you got to be gone. You could come back when I'm back, but you can't be here. I can't have you here with my family while I'm not here. And the nigga was looking at me and he was like, what I'm supposed to do? So I could drop you off at the library. I can get you over to Michigan Works. They got workshops for you to get a job. I could take you to the unemployment office. I could take you down to the community college. I can take you to school. I could take you wherever you got to go. But when I'm not here, you not here. And you got a week, my nigga. You got a week. The fuck is we talking about? Nigga, you not my child? And you eat, nigga, you just ate all of the pizza. You just ate all the pizza. Nigga was looking at me like, oh, dog. Time to go. Hey, hey, listen, I'm waking up at 5 in the morning tomorrow. So you probably want to get your shower before I get my shower. And it's a fresh towel over there. And I'm leaving at about 5:45. So let me know where you need to go so that I can plan my route around where I need to drop you off. All right? Okay, I'll see you later, Pumpkin.
It's a few days left.
Today, the judge also denied a
Crazy.
motion asking.
I heard they actually got something like that in Detroit too. Detroit eviction. There was something happening in Detroit where it wasn't Leland. Was it Leland?
The Leland House Apartments in downtown Detroit dodge a blackout for now.
Yep, today, its owners will pay an outstanding bill to DTE. Fox 2's Robert.
Hold on.
And it's a story we've been following all week. Last Friday, tenants living at the Leland House apartments in Detroit were met with a shocking letter saying they would have to move out of the building because ownership was unable to pay massive bill from DTE.
However, a last-ditch effort to secure funding bought residents just enough time, and today, a judge ruled that the power can stay on, at least for now. Local 4's J. Scott Smith was in the courtroom and has the details.
We did pull off a miracle today.
After an at times contentious, nearly 3-hour hearing in U.S. bankruptcy court, the owners of the Leland House apartments on Bagley and Cass got a reprieve today, securing funding to pay an overdue deposit to DTE, keeping the power on in the nearly 100-year-old building, at least through the weekend.
I think the judge was very understanding and...
Oh, that's the...
sympathetic for the residents and understanding
that building is literally up the street from MGM Casino, the Leland.
The harsh consequences of them having to move. So therefore, she ruled in our favor.
The building's owner, the Michael Higgins Trust, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in early November. Luis Ramirez, the authorized representative for the trust, said the near closure stemmed from a $57,000 unpaid deposit to DTE Energy. It led to scenes such as this one from Anthony Howard, who has lived in the Leland for 15 years.
You really don't have time to properly pack. You don't have time to really properly find a place to stay.
Ramirez was able to secure the funding and says he'll get it within 48 hours to clear the deposit.
Yep, because that's the DTE building right there. The DTE building that's on the left is literally across the street from MGM Casino. So people walk past this place all the time, and it's probably one of the only buildings in the city right now that is in this area that has not been changed ownership, torn down, redeveloped. I'm telling you, it's like one of the only buildings in the city that hasn't been redeveloped. When I walk by the bottom of it, it's like a little diner area that's just like completely abandoned. And I'll be thinking to myself, who lives in this building? Why would anybody ever live in this building?
Yeah. If the payment wasn't made by today, DTE had planned to cut the power to the building, rendering it unlivable. During the hearing, Judge Maria Oxholm ordered DTE to keep the lights on.
The judge gave us, through the financing company, until Monday at 5 o'clock to make that payment, which we fully intend to do.
Today was a good day.
William Clark has lived at the Leland for 10 years.
We got more time to find a place in the future to stay, but right now we're good, and it was a good day.
He was frustrated by the entire ordeal, laying the blame for the debt at the feet of previous landlords. He's happy for the reprieve, but this entire ordeal has taken a toll on him.
It's been hard, stressing out, not being able to go to work and make money to pay my bills, but I'm getting through it, and today...
What do you mean not being able to go to work?
It made me feel a lot better that we got more time.
So while the fate of the nearly...
I don't understand that.
The Leland House
understand
apartments in downtown Detroit dodge a blackout for now.
Yep, today, its owners will pay an outstanding bill to DTE. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch joins us live from Detroit and has the latest on what this is all about. Robin.
See the MGM right there in the background with the big old lights?
Good morning, Jay and Amy. We're standing outside the Leland House here in downtown Detroit, and this is the building in question. If the owners are able to pay their outstanding balance to DTE by the deadline of 5 o'clock tonight, then the power will not be shut off to that building. We're talking about $57,000. That is the bill that they have to pay. Of course, dozens and dozens of residents live here, and they are hoping that they will be able to pay that bill because certainly they do not want to have to move out. Many of them have lived here for decades. So as you know, the 40 or so tenants who live here were notified just after.
Hold on, bro. It's 40 people that live there. It's time to shut the doors, bro. It's time to shut the doors. If you're telling me that 40 people, 40 or so tenants live there in that massive building, it's time to wrap it up, big dog. Time to shut the doors. Sell the building. I'm sure Dan Gilbert and the Illages are salivating at the opportunity to acquire another building downtown. It's time to shut the doors, bro. Real talk. See you. When is the Leland Forest? Leland is expected to go up for sale. Nah, that's late. In the spring? How much? The value of the Leland Hotel is currently uncertain as it is in bankruptcy proceedings ahead of a potential sale. Court documents from November 2025 listed the owner's assets, including the building, between 10 and 50 million. Previous renovation plan from 2018 valued at 120 million to convert the building into apartments never started due to various unpublicized reasons and the eventual death of the owner, Michael Higgins. So this one is one of the big plays. Who is Michael Higgins? Michael Higgins, Detroit. Longtime landlord and business owner Michael Higgins dies at 74. Redeveloper, business owner who controlled a sizable real estate empire. What the fuck just happened? Grew up in Grosse Pointe. Finance stock left. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. Michael Higgins dead at 74. And I'm not paying no subscription to read all of this. All right, so I kind of got an idea of what's going on now. That makes sense. So the longtime landlord passed away, and I'm assuming that there is problems with his estate, which is one of the reasons why you kind of got to get your estate together before you get away, and you got to put people in place. I don't know if he ever had anybody that stood with him. A wife probably passed away. If he had any children, anything like that, maybe they didn't want to get into the business.
After Thanksgiving, that their power was in jeopardy of being shut off and that they would need to move out. That is not the news that anyone, of course, wants to hear, let alone during the holidays. That led to an emergency hearing that happened last week where a settlement was reached, a deal was made. The building's owners, they now have to pay $57,000 by the end of the day today to avoid the power being turned off. Take a listen to a local attorney who is not connected to this case, but weighs in on what the residents are dealing with.
Knowledgeable of where your landlord is with his mortgage. You know, they don't have a duty to tell you, but if something gets fishy, trust your gut instincts, and you know you can withhold the rent.
That's his estate. The property is completely in disrepair. That's why you don't have no tenants. His estate is completely fun with the bag. That's why the building itself, not the estate, but the building itself is in bankruptcy court. And I'm pretty sure that they're looking to list the building for sale, which would then be acquired by a developer that's going to redevelop the property and turn it into whatever it is that they're going to turn it into. So,
you know, for a reasonable.
That's why you got to go down the rabbit holes. Going down rabbit holes will actually put you in a position to actually find some of the gems. You start to research stuff. You start to make some phone calls. You start going down rabbit holes. You'll start to find stuff that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to find before. It ultimately leads you into the gold mine. Rabbit holes lead to the pot of gold. Rabbit holes lead to the pot of gold because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Somebody said that building would be a great office for GM. Why would GM ever want to go in there? GM is moving into the new Hudson's building with Chase. Yep. I actually inquired about one of the reasons why I'm going back and forth about renewing here, because I crazy enough, I actually been here for 3 years. And so I inquired about what the requirement was to move into either the new Michigan train station or what the Hudson's building is. And so I encourage you guys a lot of times, and this is why you got to know your city, you got to know your state, you got to know where you live. I encourage you guys, get involved. Get involved and find out what's happening all around you, right? Go and find out, make phone calls, put your people on it. If you got a girlfriend or if you got a wife, man, put her to work, bro. Put her to work and get involved and have her making phone calls. That's all. If y'all notice, when I get phone calls throughout the day, when Rita called me, she don't be like, oh, what are you doing? How's things going? You know what Rita does when she calls me? She says, so listen, I got this deal on the table. Or she'd be like, look, this is what they said. This is what I'm coming back with. How do you want me to proceed? Or, hey, I made this. And it ain't just her. It's all, I got every person that is in my life around me. They are working. They are working. My daughter is I said, hey, I got an email from Mercedes. They saying that the car haven't been started up. You got to start it up for an hour. Then you got to make this phone call to get this car over to the dealership. You got to get this fixed, get this fixed. Matter of fact, let me call her. Actually, she might be in school right now. Let me double check, see where she's at. She's shopping? She at the dealership. Oh, she's still at the school.
Your call has been.
She at the school. All right. But have them go down them rabbit holes. Have them go down the rabbit holes. If the only thing that your chick is good for is giving up box and some head and sitting there whining and complaining, do you know how you can solve for your relationship? You know how you can solve for all of the problems that you got in your relationship? Put it to work. Women are just like children. If they're not busy, then they start thinking about and looking at stuff that they're not supposed to look at and being influenced by people that they're not supposed to be watching in the first place. If you want to solve for the problems in your relationship, you need to give her a task and keep her busy. Give her some time to miss you. Put her out there to go and hunt that. Listen, they woke, so you might as well give her a task. Give her a task. Hey, listen, track this down, find this going on. So I had them acquire about what was happening in the Hudson's building. That's how I found out everything as far as who the tenants were, because once they start deep diving into that, and then they referred them over to the Michigan Central because they only want a certain person. So they're looking for big companies. They're recruiting from Chicago. Let me be quiet. I'm saying too much. But if y'all don't, man, listen, put that chick to work. Keep her busy. Then they're going to be like, hey, what do you got for me? What's going on? What am I supposed to be doing? I don't know the role that I'm supposed to be playing in your life. What plans do you have for us? But if you got her busy, she's like, you know what? We working together. We building this together. I got a vested interest in seeing you successful. Then that's when they start defending you. I'm trying to tell you, listen. Do you know the first thing that Carrie said to me last night? Every woman says the same thing. No matter what role they play in your life, every woman says the same thing. They all say it. They all say it. Carrie, this is nothing crazy, so I'm going to just share this really quickly. This is what they say. Anton, do you need anything from me? Anything that I can bring more value to you or help? You've been so awesome to me. If you are not giving them a task, women are they could be the greatest tools that you have in your life, or they could be the bane of your existence, but it's all about how you utilize them. And if every woman in your life is not contacting you and saying, no matter what role they play, if every woman in your life is not reaching out to you and saying, hey, wait a minute, what more can I do? What more can I do? Let's do it. Hey, what else you want me to do? How else you want me to attack this? Hey, teach me this so I could take this over from you. Do this, do that. If the women in your life is not doing that, then that means that either A, you're not busy enough, or B, you don't have them being busy enough. Either you're not busy enough or you don't have them being busy enough. They want to help. They want to serve. They want to grow with you. They want to add value. They want to make sure that everything is taken care of. And so send them on them tasks. Send them on a hunt. They're going to find that shit too. Boy, I'm telling you, women will bring you the best deals. They will make you the most money. They will give you the most opportunities. They're going to go and find the answers. They are going to figure that shit out immediately. Immediately. If the only thing that you're looking at a woman for is how pretty she is or what her pussy tastes like or something like that, you already fumbled the bag. You already lost, bro. You already fumbled the bag. You already lost. Telling you, bro, that is like 1% of the equation. The other 99% of the equation for most women is, how can I be useful? How can I be purposeful? What other value can I add into your life? And so if you're not going to put her to work, then I will. So I tell y'all all the time, listen, you having a problem with your chick, you don't think that she valuable, you know what? You only look at her for the street, send her over to AD. I got you. I'm going to put her to work. I'm going to put her to work. I'm going to figure out Q all the time. Hey, listen, this is what I got for you. Hey, check this out. Tell me what you think about this. This is your next play. I'll be like, all right, cool. Look, enforcer. Not these women today. Cool, send her to me. Send her to me. Send her to me. I promise you, I will fix that whole situation. And I will make sure that whatever it is that you don't like about her, I'm gonna make it make sense for you. I see you, see. I see you, see. Whatever you don't like about her, I'm gonna make sure that I make it make sense. I can fix her. I can fix her. Look, another nigga. They'll do anything if you're rich. Yeah. Let me tell you something, big dog, and then we're going to move over to the next conversation. It's a nigga right now somewhere putting a chick to work, and he ain't got nowhere near the amount of money that you think that he should have. It's a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year nigga somewhere that's going to ultimately get a huge bag, and he putting that chick to work, and he got her moving. It's dudes every day that's of all socioeconomic statuses that is making a play, nigga. And if you the person that's saying it, you not him. If you're the person that's saying that, then you are not him. And it don't matter how much money that you got. I keep telling y'all that. I don't know why y'all don't get it. It ain't about the money. It's not the money. The money supposedly is supposed to come with it. You keep thinking that, oh, you got to be rich to do it. You don't. Dudes on every level, good dudes, bad dudes, dudes with money, dudes without money, light skin, dark skin, West Coast, East Coast, it's dudes every day that don't have no problem and they making a move. And they chick believe in them. Whoever it is that's around them, they believe in them and they going places too. Now, some dudes use it for bad. I don't advise that you do that. But it's people every day that's getting to it. It ain't about no money. If you think that you're going to have money in order to do it, when you get money, you're not going to be any different. It's just going to make you more of what you already are. Purpose is purpose. Purpose is purpose. Whatever. It is what it is. Make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Remember when dudes had to go line up at Technicolor? Shout out to Mr. Lot, focusing on me, period, since 80 joining the Bag Chasers today. God bless you. Shout out to the new chasers. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Yeah. Jesse V in the building says, oh no, AD, you better than me. Anybody who ain't in the family and eat all of the pizza got to go immediately. Yeah, but that's my dog since we was little, and still had to hold him down. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. AD, would you cop that Leland building? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unless I was flipping it, making a quick flip for it. If I can get it and make a quick flip for it, then that's what I would do. But I don't have the money and the resources to be able to develop something like that. I'm not that rich yet. Keyword yet. Keyword yet. I'm pretty sure that I could secure some level of financing to be able to do it if I can make a business case for it. But I'm not that rich yet. I don't want that level of liability. And I don't want that to be draining me. I don't want it to be a situation where, you know, I'm stressing out every fucking day because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make this thing work and all of that. I'm not that rich yet. I'm not that rich yet. No, that wouldn't be a thing for me. Absolutely not. I want to continue to build up to eventually being in a position to do some stuff like that. I'm not that rich yet. Nope. I'm not there yet. In time, we'll get there. They said let the team go up on a strike, big dog. On Q&A last night, Rebecca was pure gold. Rebecca, which one was? I remember repeat. Oh, Rebecca. Yeah, the loyal one. Shout out to Rebecca. Preach. And my Dolph voice. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I'll get there, K. Cooper. I'll get there. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get into this. I want to get into this real quick. I'm going to read your super chat shortly, Karen.
We turn now to a story that's getting a lot of people talking and also set to make history. Take a look at this. This is a social media post by Reuters. Australia is set to become the first country to implement a minimum age for social media use, with platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube forced to block more than 1 million accounts, marking the beginning of an expected global wave of regulation. So this is a live look right here of the Sydney Harbor as this ban is set to take effect later on today. A little bit more information. Australia's world first social media ban for under 16-year-olds will take effect at midnight today, local time. forcing major platforms to block users or face heavy fines. All of this aimed to protecting children from harmful content and mental health risks. And this has been getting a lot of folks talking right here as social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Reddit, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, X, YouTube, and Twitch will start facing fines after this ban is implemented at midnight if they fail to take reasonable steps to remove those accounts. Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, was the first tech giant to react, beginning to exclude suspected young children last week. While the law allows parents no discretion to allow their children to hold social media accounts, there is a role for parents in regulating their social media use. So we want to bring you into the conversation because no doubt a lot of folks have an opinion. And we want to ask you if you agree with Australia's ban on social media for children under the age of 16. This is a live vote right here. 3 answers for you: yes, no, or it should be up to the parents. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the upper right-hand side of your screen and share with us your thoughts. A lot of parents have very strong feelings about 50% of you say it should be up to the parents. So this is going to be the very first country, Australia, to implement this social media ban. This is set to take place at midnight tonight, and Australia would become the very first country to enact a ban of information about the social media pressures. So it is an interesting conversation. We, of course, always love to bring that conversation to you, the viewer, so you can share your perspective on this. So we are going to close out this poll in just a minute. We're going to keep it up for a little bit longer in case you didn't have your phone handy and you wanted to scan that QR code. But right now, it seems like an overwhelming amount of you who have participated in this poll agree with us.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a poll up in my own chat. Start a poll. Should people under 16 be banned from social media? Yes, no, should be up to the parents. All right, I just dropped the poll in the chat, and I want to see what y'all perspective is. It says, should people under 16 be banned from social media? Yes, no, or it should be up to the parents. And I want to see if my poll is similar. My poll, that's what she said. I want to see if my poll is similar to what they're experiencing right here on Fox's Live Now. At that point, it said 80%, which is basically 4 out of every 5 parents, was saying that, it should be. Let me see. Bloomberg, let's talk.
Australia is set to enact policy that requires social media companies, including TikTok and Instagram, to block under 16s from holding accounts or face fines of up to $33 million. Joining us now is Terry Flew, Professor of Digital Communication and Culture at the University of Sydney. Professor, good to see you. So we are going to unpack, I guess, the for and against arguments for such a social media ban, but talk to us.
After only a couple minutes, I have over 311 votes. Let me see something. 333 votes. 83% says yes. 82% says yes. 15% says should be up to the parents. And 3% says no. Well, here's the problem with that, though, is that I don't think that most parents are good parents. I don't think that most parents... I think that some people that choose to have children are horrible, horrible, horrible parents. I think that most parents are horrible parents. I'm 100% in it. I'm 100% in it. And the reason that I'm 100% in support of it is because these kids have the rest of their lives. They got their entire life to be on toxic media. They got their, shout out to Coach Chris. I'm going to read this in a second. They got the rest of your life to be on toxic media. It's just like I tell my daughter, I said, you got the rest of your life to pay bills. You got the rest of your life to be an adult. What are you in a rush for? Let's just be a kid. And she'd be like, you know what? That's true. Stay a kid as long as you can. Stay in your parents' house as long as you can. Make sure that you stay off social media as long as you can. How would it benefit you? How does it benefit you? I'm 100% in support of this. I actually think that they should bring this to the United States of America. It would have to be a state-by-state ban, but I think that they should bring this to the United States of America. Australia did something right. Australia did something right. They actually did the right thing in banning social media for children 16 and under. I'm with it. I have no disagreement whatsoever.
First, how we got here after, 3 decades of mostly an unregulated internet?
I think that the pressure for policies along these lines has been building for about a decade. There's a lot of dissatisfaction.
C. Diggs says, I don't have the right to decide who the bad parents are in this country or anywhere else. Oh, absolutely I do. Oh, absolutely I do. My tax dollars got to go towards making sure that they pay for it and food stamps. My tax dollars got to make sure that their schooling is paid for, even though my daughter may not necessarily go to the schools. I got to pay for it. They keep on advocating for higher taxes for social services. In Chicago, they keep on telling you that they're raising the taxes on the rich to ensure I got to pay for the police officers to arrest them. I got to pay for the incarceration in the jails. I got to pay for the politicians and the government officials that keep on trying to deal with it. Oh, I 100% have a vested interest in what happens. I absolutely do. You know why? Because my money is going towards it. My culture is changing. My people, I might have grandkids that get raised in this bull BS. Yes, I do. I got to say so. I absolutely can determine it. I can determine it by the people that don't pay for their children to eat. And 42 million people are saying that they need food stamps. Why wouldn't I? Why can't I have a say so? Absolutely, I can. You 100% have say so in the culture of what happens. Absolutely, you can determine that. What do you mean?
With industry self-regulation and also a growing sense that a lot of the promises of social media have had significant downsides. So in Australia, the conversation essentially begins about 18 months ago, and there were various proposals around how to address issues around young people and adverse mental health consequences, and a social media ban was agreed upon by government, opposition, and the state premiers as the best way in which to proceed along these lines, and legislation was passed 12 months ago. So we've now had quite a long lead time to put in place the implementation of the ban, which will be commencing tomorrow.
That period was very...
Let me tell you what's going to happen, all right? Let me tell you what's going to happen. There's some parents that's going to basically create social media accounts for their children because they so busy trying to be their kid's friend instead of trying to be their parents. Some parents is going to create social media accounts. There's going to be ways to get around it. They're going to get a VPN. They're going to, finesse. They're going to do all of that because they so busy trying to promote their kids and force their kids to grow up real fast versus actually allowing for their children to enjoy their childhood. The responsible parents are going to actually embrace it. And then you're going to have, the outlaws that kind of do whatever it is that they want to do. That's how it's going to play out. That's how it's going to play out. The responsible parents are going to rock out. And I think that we're seeing a new wave of responsibility in the United States of America from people that are fed up with what they see the culture turning into. You know what social media has done to your children? Make them for the streets, make them gay. Oh, no. Let me do it differently. You know what social media has done to you? For those of you that cannot control yourselves, it's fucked up your relationships. It's messed up your sense of normalcy and what you think is normal. It's made you a recluse and prevented you from actually being able to communicate effectively with people in the real world. It's made you not want to go outside. You now hate men, and the men hate women, and the women hate men. You don't know what accountability looks like. You think that the world is one way, but the reality is completely different. You only go to places based off of what you see on social media. So when you go to a city, you want to visit a place based off of what you're seeing on TikTok instead of actually experiencing it for yourself. You don't know how to talk. You don't know how to communicate. You think you're tough. And social media has completely mind fucked you. So don't you want your children to be better than you? You're a piece of shit because you don't know how to separate real life, and you don't even know how to pick who you should follow on social media. So now your life is messed up and you don't even know what a sense of normalcy look like. And your children is going down the exact same path as you. You make up fake accounts and that's how you live your life. You don't know how to actually have a conversation with a woman in real life. And so you do a mass copy and paste DM that you've seen on Reddit that somebody told you works. You jack off all day. Women are using a rose all day. They don't know how to communicate anymore. They started decentering men. You believe illegal migrants deserve to be in the United States of America even though they're breaking the law. You fucked up. You're messed up. You care more about Diddy than your own child. You don't even know how to separate life anymore. So yes, ban social media for 16-year-olds. Shit, I think that it should go up to 19. I think it should go up to 19. I think 16 is being generous. 19 should be more of the play because at least it gives their brain more time to actually develop. It gives their brain more time to actually develop if you go up to 19 than 16 because their brain still isn't fully developed. You don't get to have a social media account until you're at least 19 years old. I'm with it. Change the voting age to 25. I think that would be great. I think that would be great. I think that would be beautiful. Somebody said, I'm tired of all of this. Brain isn't developed yet. They know what they're doing. Just because you know right from wrong and you know what you're doing does not mean that your brain is fully developed. Listen, scientifically, this is not an opinion. Your brain is not fully developed until you get into your mid-20s. That is a fact. That is not our opinion. A child who is 9 knows the difference between right and wrong. It doesn't mean that their brain is fully developed. This is not our opinion. This is a fact. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what science says. Your brain isn't fully developed until you're in your mid-20s. You're just retarded. Fucking, you're just stupid. You're an idiot, bro. You're just an idiot. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? That is a sign. That, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the 3-hour mark, close to it, is a sign that it is time to take a break from social media until later on tonight when we get on after hours. All right? Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Carrington Love Jr. says, I swear in time I hired them all. My accountant looks at my payroll systems and says, where are all these girls as contractors? I just hired a young Mexican chick from Georgia this week, bilingual, looking like J-Lo. Oh, my God. Well, don't hire her for the box of lighters, though. Actually have them bring value. Coach Chris says, okay, AD, I finally admit I'm not a liberal. I'm so sick of the whole everyone do what they want. There needs to be order, and we need to govern more. Talk about it, Coach. Welcome to the ball game. AD, bring back the bell. America needs it. I got to go get my thing over there. This is brilliant, says TS Car Wash. Coach Chris says, just because everyone has rights does not mean everyone is right. Damn, we need social media ban for some adults to talk about it, bro. Facts. AD, somebody said it's a such thing as being culturally trapped. They believe in conservative values, but scared to be ridiculed by the culture. Wake up. Wake up. Stand up for yourself. Social media has been, as men, looking like weak idiots who need women for validation. It makes them young. Makes young men feel invalidated just for being alphas. What up, Les? What's up, baby girl? You still at culinary? All right, you on the live stream though, but you said you had did you have school?
No, I'm at culinary. Like I got an excuse from there, but can you call me out of it?
Call you out of what?
Culinary. We're done for the day. But they said that we have 30 minutes that we could just sit here, or you can call me out.
I don't even have the number.
You do.
You gotta send it to me. What did you do? What did y'all do in culinary today?
The holiday buffet. I've been cooking for the buffet. We made a bunch of stuff.
Nice. Did you start up the Mercedes last night?
Yeah, I did.
All right, dope. You got to make an appointment for the TRX, even though you don't want to.
I'm not gonna. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding.
Send me the number.
All right. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Shout out to Coach Chris. TS Car Wash and Detail says, parents doing viral TikTok with that 16-year-old. DoorDash driver mama. What up, mama? Says I'm a sports mom. So I see firsthand how the recruiting process starts in the middle school now. What about the kids with bad parents that have to advocate for their own future? My husband and I monitor. You talking that talk. Facts. I think that all girls should go to culinary classes in high school. I think that all girls should have culinary classes in high school. AD, I hear the maturity in their voice over the last 3 years. You're a good dad. Yeah, I try to be. She sent me something last night. Made my heart melt. She sent me a TikTok last night that says, I really love having a dad. We get weak for the stupidest, for the dumbest stuff, man. She sent me a TikTok last night. Honestly, I don't know how guys don't have a relationship and play a role in their kid's life, man. I don't know how y'all do it. Man. I don't know how y'all do it, bro. I don't know how y'all not have a bigger role in y'all children's lives, man. That's one of the most fun things ever, is to have a really, 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 really good relationship with your kid, man. I don't, bro. I can't not have a relationship with my kid, bro. Like that's everything, man. She lean on me for everything. Every decision that she makes in her life, she calls me. She calls me. She called me when I'm downstairs. I could be downstairs working on a computer or chilling watching TV, and she'll be up in her room calling me like, "Dad." Oh man. They need more guidance than ever before. And these young girls and guys that are growing up without fathers in their life, I just can't. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all do it. And I can always tell most of the time, when somebody don't have a father in their life. But that's all right. For the ladies that need some guidance, I'm your father. I'm your father. It's one of the first things that I tell people that's in my life. Um, if you get into an inner circle, you know how you know you're in my inner circle as a woman? I'll tell you. I say, you know, I'm your father now, right? And listen, don't try to take my shit because it don't work for you the same way that it worked for me. You gotta, it's like clothes. You gotta coordinate according to your personality and your style. You can't use the same lines because it don't hit the same because it's not in the same type of moments. Don't use my shit. Don't start going up to your stuff talking about, oh man, hey baby, you know I'm your father now. You're not gonna get the same. It don't resonate the same with you. So you got to pick your style for what you do and roll with that. I'm not trying to roll with your style. I'm rolling with my own style. Don't use my lines. Use your own lines. Shout out to Mikey Jr. What up to Mikey Jr.? I see you, big dog. Anton told me to say that. Nope. Somebody said, hey, yo, AD, you always trying to play somebody's hero. I am somebody's hero. You using that? Oh, shit. Here we go. It's always a nigga in there, though, that's trying to, hey, look at Relly Rail. Relly Rail ain't even got his eyes open with that punk-ass Green Bay jersey on. Don't drink the Kool-Aid, y'all. They love my Kool-Aid. They love my Kool-Aid. Sugar-free, still tastes the same. Drink the Kool-Aid. Drink my Kool-Aid. My Kool-Aid is good. It's cold on a warm summer day. Drink the Kool-Aid. See, Azriel love it. They love my Kool-Aid. God bless you, AD. You a true prophet. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate you. Let me read this last super chat and we'll get up out of there. Key says, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that ninja in the alley. I want some pups. What you need? Got them for the low, but not for free. God bless. Talk that talk. Call me daddy. Yes, Lex. Yes. Don't do it, but I'm gonna give you the context of when to use it because I don't want the people in the public to be feeling some type of way about the fact that you my little baby girl now. So we gonna figure that out. We gonna figure that out. All right. I'm your daddy now. All right. Anyways. Are ready to get up out of here? Got work to do. After hours tonight. We in the building. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Peace.